This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist CJ Cartledge.
And good morning, everyone. I'm First Alert Meteorologist CJ Cartledge here, hopping on to the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown. Sorry for you guys for the late start for today. We had some technical difficulties here on the streaming desk that we have here at KSLA, but we're all back on track for today here. We saw very cold temperatures for tonight, and as we move towards this afternoon, actually through the next couple of hours or so, I would say by the noon hour, we should start to see temperatures above the freezing level for many areas around the Arklatex here, and that will start the melting process of all of this ice. And speaking of the ice on the roadways, we did see many heavy backups there on I-20 near Arcadia and Ruston yesterday that I believe are still ongoing as of right now. And it's just terrible to see that people were out there for 6+ hours yesterday, and I believe through the overnight hours for tonight. So joining me today is our morning anchor, Miss Dominique Ben. How are you doing this morning, Dominique?
Oh yeah, well, I'm doing fine. We are working around the clock here, trying to make sure that we push the information out and public safety. We got another update this morning. I just want to start with this update with 5 additional deaths that were announced through the Louisiana Department of Health. I have it on my phone. I've shared it on my Facebook page as well as the KSLA Facebook page. Remember, just yesterday we had an additional death in our area in DeSoto Parish. That was 86-year-old Alvin Mayweather. He had a generator. His nephew, I spoke with, Roderick Davis, interviewed with me and said he had just gone and filled up the generators that night before. And in the middle of the night, Roderick's generator went, it stopped working, it ran out of gas. And so he said, let me go check on my uncle, who he's pretty much like a caretaker for him in this area because his twin daughters live in Dallas. And so Roderick went to check on him, just possibly to add more gas to his generator because he filled them up at the same time. And he went to open the door and he realized it was already open after he had told his uncle the night before. Once he brought him some food, he said, lock your door. He said, I'll get up and lock it. When he went into the home on Foxtrot in Mansfield, which is in the DeSoto Parish area, he saw his uncle motionless on the couch, and later realized that he was deceased along with a pet, a dog that he had there. Once he realized, when the emergency crews got there, they could smell a little bit. Something didn't smell right. And he said that, when he left, that the garage was up. And for some reason, between the time of him leaving the evening before and him arriving at 4 o'clock, 4:45 that morning, the garage was down. So he said it had to be his uncle that let the garage down. He does not know why. He's operated the generator before and had no problems, so he did not know why that he let the garage down. But ultimately, that is what led to his death: carbon monoxide poisoning. Just passing along about 24 minutes ago, literally breaking news: 5 additional deaths related to the icy conditions. Yeah, 2 more in DeSoto Parish. A 79-year-old female who died to hypoxia, following the failure of an electrically powered oxygen concentrator during a power outage. And so possibly that is what caused her to die, is that her oxygen it must have run out or did not have the power to continue generating it, as well as a 46-year-old male who died in a motor vehicle accident while traveling on icy roads. Can you hear me here? Traveling on icy roads. He passed away in DeSoto Parish as well. Then we're going to move over to our area of Sabine Parish. The coroner there has confirmed that a 62-year-old male and a 59-year-old female, both of whom died in their homes of suspected hypothermia following a power outage. So again, over in Sabine Parish, A 62-year-old male and a 59-year-old female died in their homes of suspected hypothermia following a power outage over there. The coroner has confirmed that these deaths are being related as storm-related deaths. And then this morning, early this morning, the Franklin Parish coroner confirmed the death of 78-year-old female who died due to hypothermia. So we have at least 4 deaths that were announced today in the Arklatex region. To our northeast would be, is that correct? Northeast to Franklin Parish, an additional there. Now, not to mention we had 2 other deaths confirmed in our area prior to Mr. Mayweather. In the Shreveport area, 2 men were found deceased in the icy conditions there. I know that you were asking earlier about the backup along I-20 between Monroe and Ruston.
Yes.
This is I-20 West, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so it's at a standstill. And we've had people that have started to contact us here in our newsroom because either they can't reach their loved ones who have been stranded and called them before to tell them they were stranded, or that they haven't been able to reach 911 or 211. So we're starting to get calls in. I actually reached out to one of the people who messaged us. She said her husband and her son were headed to Dallas. The husband had to be back to work in Dallas today, but he wanted to go check on his wife and kids that live in, they're from Douglas, Georgia, I believe.
Okay.
And so he and the oldest son, I think 19 years old, they were headed back to Dallas. They thought everything was clear because everything was clearing up in Georgia, and he checked along the way. But remember, we had those 18-wheelers trying to climb the hill, and that's when they started to get stranded, and it was like a ripple effect for everybody else that was trying to go westbound. And so listen to what she had to say. Her name is Monteria Guyton. He described the conditions on Interstate 20.
Dark, scary, icy. I mean, and they just had no idea, what they were coming up to. There were no warnings, so they were just kind of confused, about the road conditions and just the traffic that was backed up and how it was sitting still. They thought they would be there about 5 or 10 minutes, and hours fly by, and then they lose contact, and then it was just scary from there.
Did they describe any of the big trucks, the 18-wheelers that were on the roadway stranded?
Yes. Yes, they said that they were that's really pretty much all they saw was 18-wheelers that were just, stuck, couldn't move, couldn't get around, no one could move.
How could
And that
they,
was what
how
was
did they
most
end
scary.
up getting through there?
I have no idea. I think it was really by the grace of God. I think they were just, trying to maneuver the vehicle as humanly, as possible, and the whatever that was possible for them to do. And they, some kind of way, they maneuver their way through. I
How,
couldn't even
3,
tell you how they done it.
2,
how
1.
relieved are
I
you?
think
He described the
So
yeah.
yes, it's definitely a miracle that they got through that because it was a pretty extensive backup, right, Dominique?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you how they got through there. It wasn't the normal way from what I talked to the wife about. Apparently, they were able to maneuver in some spots, and she says she believes they have some vehicle damage because they hit something trying to get around. So it certainly wasn't waiting until the trucks moved out of the way. I think they have a little bit of vehicle damage in the front from trying to maneuver, and they possibly hit something, not another car. They possibly hit something on the front of their vehicle, and they were able to exit. And right now they're still in Ruston trying to figure out any back roads to get to Dallas.
Wow. Okay. Do you know what possibly may have been at the front, may have caused the backup there along I-20 in either direction here? Was it because of maybe an 18-wheeler? Or I believe that's what I have heard. What did you hear?
So we are hearing from yesterday that those trucks were trying to get up an icy hill, and I guess they could not, and that's what caused them to be stranded. And because of the ripple effect, the people, and this is in both lanes westbound, and because of the ripple effect, cars are now behind those 18-wheelers, and they can't really squeeze through unless you're like on a bicycle or motorcycle, the little, and you wouldn't even want to do that at that point. But they're backed up, and I think it was yesterday that we were saying that LSP had tried to go cab to cab to see if people were in those. Still in those 18 wheelers. So I guess once they cleared it, they can get it moving. But from what we understand, and we just got another advisory. We just got another advisory from let's see what it said, that it was hazardous conditions, public safety alert coming from DOTD regarding the I-20 near Arcadia and Ruston. That was yesterday, but I believe they sent the same alert out just a moment ago.
Wow, that is definitely an extensive backup out there right now, and I believe the cars are still backed up out there currently
Yes, they
here, and help is on the way. I believe help is on the way, and I know that the ice is expected to melt through the rest of today due to the higher temperatures and the sun finally showing back out again across the Arctic. So hopefully that backup will be at least relieved by the time we have hit the afternoon hours.
All right.
Yeah, so thank you once again, Dominique, for joining me for today and telling me about those latest details and a bit of the breaking news as well. We're going to be diving into a 2-minute break here. We'll be back on the KSLA First Alert weather breakdown, excuse me, for a quick wrap up of the show. And we're going to be talking about tomorrow's episode as well. So stay tuned for just around 2 minutes for the latest information on that. And good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Tomorrow, I'll be not on the KSLA First Alert weather breakdown here, but meteorologist Jake Landry will be on the KSLA First Alert weather breakdown, and he will have that topic coming out either by tomorrow, right before the show, or as soon as, around the afternoon hours for today. But sadly, we did not talk about the trivia for today due to the technical difficulties and us starting a bit late here. But make sure to tune into tomorrow's episode, which starts at 10:30 a.m. Meteorologist Jake Lambright will be on the podcast here at 10:30 a.m. and we'll have another trivia episode for you guys next week here. And meteorologist Evan Thomason will also be coming back onto the green screen tomorrow morning here, and he will be back on the podcast starting on Thursday at around 10:30 a.m. or at 10:30 a.m. on the dot here. Once again, he'll be, I believe. Actually, no, I believe he's off. So we'll have an updated schedule for you guys. Meteorologist Jake Lambright, I know for sure, is going to be on the podcast tomorrow. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And he will also be hopping on to the stream here to introduce Governor Landry, who's also giving a press conference in Monroe on the winter weather that's ahead. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And we'll be back in just around another 2 minutes. Okay. Do you
Well, good morning, Arklatex. I'm meteorologist Jake Lambright. We're going to go live to Governor Jeff Landry's press conference over in Monroe, where he's expected to provide an update on the winter weather aftermath across northern Louisiana.
I've never seen, I've been here 36 years, I've never seen anything like that.
That's because Katrina's praying for everybody.
So, that's right. Because we're moving, we're still checking, evacuating people when we need to. We're now kind of shifting into what we're used to, holding traffic for the energy services, escorting power company line wherever they need to go, try to get around some of our congestion. And we had several firsts during this storm, but we're moving forward. We have no outstanding requests into the state. We're continuing operating.
All right.
Sheriff's been doing all of that without a
Two mayors.
windshield.
Yeah.
He's been doing all of that without a windshield.
Hey, Froggy and Stacy, Monroe went for the mayor. Oh, okay. Hey, let me just say something for the legislators out of here as well, because what the sheriff just said is something that I've called yesterday to every sheriff in northern in central Louisiana, trying to catch as many of them as possible to see what was going on. Said this, I want you to know that the DOTD reorganization that we did, I think, is helping. We wanted to make sure that the regional areas had more authority and more ability to do things. Y'all guys have done an absolute great job. I'll tell you what I told them when I said they've been in a fight with one arm tied behind their back because of some of the things that we've been dealing with that we just had not anticipated. We're going to fix that. We're going to make sure that they have what they want. And so, again, the problems that we've seen in the past, hopefully we don't ever have cold weather again like that, but if we do, we're going to be ready. But thank y'all guys. I want you to know that on both sides, Shreveport and on the Monroe side, the sheriffs have been very complimentary.
Governor, if I may add one more thing, I wanted to mention. Everywhere we went, when we were trying to evacuate somebody or take care of somebody, the neighbor helping neighbor thing in this parish, and I know it's all of Louisiana, but it's impressive to see. You know, one guy's got a tractor, another one's got a chainsaw, this one's got a generator, so they're having everybody stay at this house. That took a load off of us because our people take care of themselves. But like I said, call us if you need, but we're still doing it. But I can't say enough about the citizens of Louisiana and impressive as well.
I'll double that. We've had 162 people in our shelters. We're not turning anyone away. At this point, I think we're out of cots, but we are warm. Use electricity, but like First West Church has come through with meals. They just texted us. They're taking a hot lunch to them right now. So I want to, as well as other public members, have been donating packaged snacks and water, and the food bank has been great. So it's come out and done an amazing job.
Okay, well, thank you. And you don't have any outstanding requests over the group set, but you do need some copies.
Well, hopefully, if this is energy's going to get
Okay, you got it.
all on
Okay.
electricity,
Okay.
tomorrow it will be okay.
All right.
Governor, I'll give you an update on the water system. You know, we have bulk contracts.
Come on, Friday, you come up, you been in cameras, they have a tough time coming back.
For the people, if you're not with
Sometimes I like to turn them back quickly.
we have, I'll give you an update on our system. So, you know, we have bulk water contracts with some of our Washita Parish systems that are out there. We're back up and running. We never lost power, so if there are any stories out there that we lost water, we have not. They're on a call right now with St. Francis Hospital and other hospitals right now. Sean Benton, our water director, thanks to Energy. They pulled our Bayou pump station back on, and so all of our residents are seeing water this morning at higher pressures than what they need. But right now, I think everybody here understands that the biggest cleanup is going to be after this.
On the debris side.
Correct. So we were here, what was it, a few years ago for the week-long storm. I didn't see anything like this, sir. So the debris there's not a place in Booker T or there's not a place in AQ or in South Monroe that there is not a tree or multiple snap power lines. It's going to be a huge cleanup. Same way with North Monroe. You go through the Garden District, it's devastation. So the biggest need after this, which I think we talked to Tracy and a few other people, is going to be the limb and debris cleanup.
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Same, yeah. It's helped and done fine, but our public works has worked nonstop getting the right of ways cleared as much as they can, obviously safely around power lines and stuff.
Out in the parish, we do have a lot of residents who are without water.
One of the water systems in particular has got 2 wells on the south side that are operating, 5 on the north side that are not. So we're trying to address those and just communicating with the public. Yeah, we need generators. And I think y'all have been working on
Big
that.
generators. So some of our nursing homes, assisted living facilities are still without, they're deploying and trying to get them up, but we have a bunch that are still in a very bad situation.
Okay. I think Tony turned the Shinny Drew water system, we pushed 8 generators that way this morning, so
Right.
They should be up and running soon.
Yeah.
And look, and that's not localized within Washita Parish. That is, seems like every rural water system has similar issues.
Well, we've got plenty of water stocked up, bottled water we can distribute to y'all guys if
The problem is getting it here. It's stuck on the interstate
Yeah.
between Minden and here right now.
Yeah, I know.
Check
Don't
some
worry.
back.
Also, our stores
The
shutting
boys are
down.
doing their best. I think we'll be, I can tell you this, eastbound right now is we just threw it.
Yeah.
Eastbound right now is flowing.
Good.
So I feel very good because most of those supplies are coming from Minden or Arcadia. Yeah, from Minden. That's another thing. I think Minden is a great spot. Has always worked well during spring and summer storms. We're gonna take another look at where we're gonna pre-position some assets because of the problem that we had on I-20. Again, every time you deal with Mother Nature, she normally always has the upper hand. But if you're smart enough, she'll show you what you need next time. But I think the I-20 thing is gonna work out.
I-20 eastbound Q is freed up.
It's freed up.
Yeah, so west,
Yeah, and Glenn has moved. Glenn, you want to say a couple of things on
Yeah,
some
so
of the
we've
stuff?
moved all of our assets from the central region as well as the south up here. So those crews are getting here and they've been on the ground early this morning. They're working both motor graders, brine trucks, as well as salt trucks to do everything we can to free that up. And so we feel pretty good about what we'll be able to do today. By dark today, we should have really free flow traffic in both directions. In addition to that, as we just touched base, I think everything westbound is now flowing. So it's just a matter of how long that queue gets to unplug, and we should be in good shape.
But I will do this. Let me just say this, and ask the media to continue to echo this. Just because a road is open doesn't mean it's safe. And I will again caution everyone who gets out on the road to proceed with caution. Tonight, temperatures are going to drop down again. We'll have a warm-up period, and we've got another cold mass of air that's going to hit this area again over the weekend. Again, you cannot assume that just because we do a great job of clearing all the ice off the roads this go around, that over the weekend you may not get a little glaze of ice. So again, we just beg everyone. We've been real good. I got to say this. I want to thank the citizens out there for heeding a lot of our messages. We haven't had. I think we finally had, unfortunately, one fatality on the roadway. I don't think the fellow was wearing a seatbelt, and
he was unrestrained. It's just vessels into DeSoto Parish on I-49. But just to remind all of the motoring public that your chances increase significantly of having no injury and certainly not death when you wear your seatbelt. And for those commercial drivers who are out there that are patiently waiting as the queue increases, just as the governor mentioned, you have to be cautious. Although there's a posted speed limit, you have to drive safe for the conditions. So when everything opens up and the traffic starts to move, don't increase your speed to close the gap. Gradually take your time. There are hills and curves and certainly downgrades with commercial vehicles. So when the public sees passenger cars and a lot of 18-wheelers, you have to take your time easing back into the flow of traffic, especially at nighttime where things are not as visible as they are today. And please buckle up, and both the front and rear passengers. It's incredibly important and could save your life.
Yeah. So again, let's be very careful in using the roads as we open them up. Just because they open does not mean that they're safe or not without ice.
You know, we're in Washington Parish, most of us are here, but you know, all the way down to I-20 corridor. I want to remind you, the governor knows this, and you deployed the National Guard there. East Carroll Parish is the only parish with not one piece of electricity. And they've run out of water now too, so they're on their second day of no water, day and a half, but they have been since Saturday with no electricity. I think the National Guard is preparing, from what I know, to open up a warming station there, but that's a very rural area. So as soon as it's safe to get help there, more help, because a lot of our seniors cannot get out of their homes to go to the warming station.
Well, so here's what we do. We started deploying assets out there as early as yesterday, and unfortunately we ran into the problem that everybody did with I-20. There is assets moving there, Jason, right?
He's frustrated by movement right now.
Yeah, but we are moving, and I think the generator got there.
The generator got there about 3 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, and they're working to hook that up, and then
Water MREs are on their way.
Yeah. It
One
is,
of our farmers is actually fueling the generator for the hospital. He had a 1,000-gallon truck, and when you talk about good Samaritans, a farmer was able to take their 1,000-gallon truck because 18-wheeler couldn't get in and refuel the hospital, and he's committed to doing that. So.
Yeah, look, I mean, again, I think what the sheriff's saying is right. I mean, our citizens have been through, if it's not ice, it seems like it's wind or rain. And the greatness is that we work together. It's the beautiful thing about Louisiana is that neighbors help neighbors around here. We want to make sure that we understand if there's any severe gaps in either information or supplies. We're going to be headed over to East Carroll and West Carroll, do a flyover. I think we're meeting with those local officials in Richmond Parish as well. So that's going to be the next stop. I think, again, I am very hopeful that with the I-20, with both east and westbound getting opened up today, that's going to help. So we caught all the mayors that are here.
Richwood mayor is here. Brown.
We're good. We're in the same spot where everybody else is. Just still got a few
cold.
Got a few people without power. We do have a warming station, charging station open up to try to address those.
Okay. And again, I would urge, I just want to make sure, Jason, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Here's the thing for local officials. You got to move those requests through your OEP and then up the region. And, you know, if it seems like it's taking a little longer than it should, then, you know, let us know to make sure nothing falls through the cracks. I am here specifically because I want to make sure it can happen. Communication sometimes is difficult to begin with, and we just want to make sure that we are communicating and getting what we need. So,
well, we have 0 complaints with OEP. I want to say that publicly. OEP has worked like a well-oiled machine. We've been able to get in touch with every OEP office in any parish, and they are working well in Northeast Louisiana. I know the resources may be limited because of trucks, but I can honestly say OEP has done a tremendous job here.
Great. Well, we're definitely going to work on it. So, in the parish, I guess we got everyone. I guess we'll go last but not least. Right, we'll let the press ask a couple questions.
Behind the podium.
Oh, okay. All right.
Greg, you up first, huh?
Governor, from your aerial view, what did you see?
Well, I can tell you there's an absolute distinct freeze, sleet, or snow line. I guess it's all three as you move south to north. You know, just below, I would say, below Jonesville, I guess, is where you really start to see a very distinct ice line. Certainly there is a lot of vegetative debris. You can see the havoc that the ice has wreaked on the vegetation out there. I'm sure that as you move north, it gets even worse. You know, I feel like from here, moving again north, northeast, you're seeing basically the same similar things that you saw over in Mississippi as well. We met yesterday with all of the utilities. I know the Public Service Commission is working very hard. We're moving resources from the southern part of the state to the northern part of the state. We just about have doubled the number of vegetation and linemen that we started with at the beginning of this event. I am hopeful based upon what they're telling me, that we'll have 90% of the utilities up, say about Thursday morning.
Governor, yesterday you reported that there had been 6 storm-related deaths. Where does that stand today?
If I'm not mistaken, I think that's up 2 more. Yeah, I think it's 8. As Colonel Hodges just mentioned, we had a traffic accident where a fellow went off the road and was killed over in DeSoto Parish.
And there are 2 more with LDH. I don't want to speak to Secretary Greenstein, but as always, confirm with the coroner to ensure the classification is weather related from hypothermia or some other. I believe the count right now is 8.
And I think, look, I think the message is this. Again, we want our citizens to know a couple of things. Stay off the roadway. You can't get in an accident. You don't become a statistic. Number 2, you gotta get to a warming shelter if you do not have electricity or supplemental heat, right? Number 3, again, the biggest thing, I'm telling you, the thing that keeps me up at night more than anything else is folks that may be without power but using supplemental heat or using a generator and then using a space heater, whether it's gas or electric. Look, this far apart, I know they were laughing at me yesterday, but literally from this side to this side, if you got a heater down, say, okay, here's my heater. Is there anything around me that can catch fire, that's combustible? Move it if it is. We really don't need a loss of property or due to fire. It's horrible, and then it strains our resources as well. So again, we would just urge everyone out there. Again, tonight is going to be cold again. It's going to warm up, but then we're going to get another round of coldness. I'm hoping by the time we get that second round of coldness that everybody will have electricity. But again, just because electricity comes on still doesn't mean you're out of danger, because you're going to be wanting to warm the home up, understand, take the necessary precautions, and we'll all get out of this alive.
For state police, and we've got a lot of constituents that are out in very, very rural places with roads that are completely impassable with no power, no communication. Have there been any house-to-house or neighbor-to-check strategies that have been employed to check on those people?
Well, I think I'll let Sheriff go first.
Not door to door, but we are out there. We have cut our way into through most roads. Now, when I say it's passable, that's for us, an emergency only. And relatives have called, and we have responded, checked on those folks, gotten several out, and we'll continue to do that. We just need to know there's no way right now to go house to house as a parish. And that's the question you asked about fatalities. It's going to be a fluid number. But we do ask that as we turn this power on, I think the fire chief was just about to say this. We've got a lot of water damage that people have seen some water leaking, but as this melt takes place, we've got some structural roofs that are collapsing. But you're going to see some water damage as this melts that we're not, people aren't prepared for. And as that power comes on, we ask the parish residents and all of Louisiana to observe everything. You live in a trailer park. Keep an eye out on everybody's houses. They turn that power on, because we don't know what we're going to have. And if the first sign of some issue, fire-related, smoke, anything, we need to know. We need to get there and handle that immediately. But try to be home as this power comes on.
Yeah, and as the water comes back on too, we ask citizens to be patient too, because you'll see pressure increase, then you may see pressure drop, and that's based upon as lines thaw out, other lines that are failing causes those particular leaks. You may end up with boil water advisories. Again, we'll push that information out. So continue to stay tuned to your local officials and the warnings and information that they put out. We put all of that out on one app. That Get a Game Plan app is a real good app. Any other more questions? Yes.
Governor, a lot of people on social media have been debating about being prepared as a state and also being prepared as residents. What would you say to residents that feel like they weren't prepared properly before the winter storm?
Look, again, we put out information for preparations, I think, well ahead of time. The Get a Game Plan app operates 24/7, whether there's a disaster upon our doorstep or not. Again, I think that that this may have been one of those events that people just, we've seen cold events before. Last year, we had a major snow event in South Louisiana. It was warm up here than it was down south, right? And so, again, people sometimes get a little complacent. Again, I would just tell you, as we get into, hopefully, this is our last winter event, major winter event, right? Maybe not. I mean, February is upon us. But again, we put that information out there specifically to let our citizens know what they need. And if they follow that, they will be prepared.
Will there be any assistance for people who had downed trees in their own yards? You have to pay for that. It's very expensive. Are there federal dollars coming in, or what can people do in that situation?
No, those dollars never did exist. I know a lot about that because we get a lot of hurricanes on the southern coast and a lot of downed trees. The way the debris pickup works is that you've got to get that to the roadway, and that's just, that's where people from Louisiana can help each other out.
Governor, how many DOTD crews are coming from South and Central Louisiana?
You want to come? Why don't you come and give me all the statistics?
In terms of crews, we really have 1,600 personnel statewide that are working 24-hour shifts. Crews are fluid depending upon what the needs are. Like I said, we've got motor grader crews on the I-20 corridor, as well as salt trucks and brine trucks. We also have crews supporting PSC and the energy companies cutting debris and removing that off of state highways and roadways so that we can access the different areas that need power restored. And so we really just got personnel throughout the state that's activated and working 24-hour shifts. In addition to that, our motor assistance patrol is out working 24-hour shifts, as well as our traffic management center. So really, it's all hands on deck for DOTD, and we're doing anything and everything we can to get both I-20 open as well as all the state highways in and around this region.
I'm sorry, but eastbound's cleared. Westbound is ready to be cleared. It just takes a while for it to.
Correct. So we cleared the ice off that roadway. Now that queue is moving, and so it'll be a couple of hours for that queue to release.
So, but by this, you said by later this afternoon.
By later this afternoon, we expect free flow traffic in both directions.
But we urge motorists to go.
Single lane or double lane on both sides? Is that the ice both?
So we're working to get both. Right now, it would be single lane, and then the goal is to try to get both lanes open later. Yep.
A follow-up question to that, was there ever a conversation Monday morning quarterback about closing I-20 for pilot? Was there?
Yeah. You want to go ahead? Well, I just add, so we always had one lane of traffic. It's obviously the traffic incidents that are causing issues, and so just working through that. But always keeping one lane open is the goal and objective, and for the most part, keeping ice off of at least one lane has been done throughout the event.
And another thing that's important to remember, especially on the interstates, once you have an open lane, you want traffic moving down those lanes because it is the traffic that actually keeps the lane ice-free. So that's the ticket, keeping it from icing up and then keeping motorists that are traveling on the interstate, moving down that interstate helps as well. So those cars that are on that interstate are doing us as much good as the crews that are out there clearing the ice.
Governor, kind of on top of that, you said earlier that you didn't want anyone to fall through the cracks or anything fall through the cracks. What do you say to those people who've been stranded on I-20 for the last 2 days who might have felt neglected?
Yeah, look, here's what I can tell you. When we put out plenty of information, we got Weather Channel now that's 24/7. We've got news that's 24/7. If they didn't know that there was a winter storm coming, they chose to get on the road. Here's what I will tell you about those folks. These guys with the badges and the fire departments and the state police have been working 24/7 to make sure that they had what they needed for those stranded motorists. They've been working water, gasoline, food. They have been traveling. Our first responders have been traveling east and westbound, up and down on ATVs from the sheriff's office to make sure that we could take care of those stranded motorists. So, look, I can tell you, I wouldn't want to be stranded there either. But I will tell you this: here in Louisiana, if you were stranded, there was some relief that was coming to you at some point.
Governor, I just wanted to make sure I'm clear on, you've asked for a federal major disaster declaration, is that what you're seeking?
Yeah,
Or is it something-
we're asking for the public assistance category to be placed in the president's declaration. That's what I'm here today, to listen to y'all, take that information back. We're gonna take some pictures, I'm gonna go over to the northeast, up in the northeast corner of the state, take some aerial views, and we're gonna send that all up to Secretary Nome and then up to the White House as well.
You're going to have pockets of businesses that have been shut down or continue to be shut down without power for maybe weeks for some of the more damaged areas. Is that also part of that declaration?
Yeah, we can also talk to them about an SBA declaration as well. That's something that normally that they do that pretty quickly. So we'll check with them on that.
We're already working.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to thank Energy and all the electric companies. I know a lot of people are frustrated. We had a lineman to get electrocuted, and I understand that he's doing a little bit better, but there's a lot of frustration with seeing them working. And a lot of people in neighborhoods, and I want to say this by the media, see a lot of people in neighborhoods don't see those linemen working, but there was a lot of damage outside of the neighborhoods, off the roads. And I wanted to thank them personally because we've seen them work hours that we wouldn't work in the ice and the road.
Yeah, look, again, I think Katrina's right. I want to thank our first responders. I want to thank the sheriff's office, the fire departments that have been working around the clock. Again, our DOT personnel have done an absolutely unbelievable job, along with the local parish and city employees that have had to work around the clock. That's what we do, right? That's why we take these jobs, and I really do appreciate it, y'all digging in, especially when our citizens need it the most. We get through this night. Again, we want to urge our citizens to take the necessary precautions. As Katrina said, those linemen are working. We doubled the number of linemen and vegetative crews up here in the northeast and the northern part of the state in order to get those utilities on as quickly as possible. I mean, literally in 12 hours, we've dropped 20,000. What our customers are back on, right? So we're right under 100,000. If we can keep that rate going, everybody will have the heat on before the next round of cold air comes back in. Okay, one night.
Thank you, Governor. I just want to say wonderful work from the city council. Thank you so much for coming up and briefing us and giving us this information and updating us. And I'd just like to say while we're in here, there are a lot of people in the Booker T area that I represent who do not have the resources to cut trees off of their roofs and that kind of stuff. So if there's anybody in here that's got those resources and that can come out and help us, I would definitely appreciate it. I got a tree on my roof and I need help too.
The governor mentioned it earlier. I just want to circle back to what the state representative asked and the sheriff. Regarding those in the rural areas, you know who your neighbors are on your left and the right, even if it's a few acres over. We plead and ask that you check on those, whether they're young or in their senior stage in life. Please check on them, make sure that they have the things they need. Even if you heard from them yesterday, if y'all could check on them, and if they need fire or EMS or police services, then we can possibly navigate a way to provide that assistance. But as the sheriff mentioned, a lot of those small roads are closed, and nobody knows that area better than others, better than those who live in those communities. But we need you to check on one another, and if you can help someone with a tree, a lot of our troopers have the chainsaws, and we will certainly help out in the neighborhoods and the communities that we live in. We see things, we're going to clear them off the road. We're not just going to drive around them and let the problem move to someone else. Please check on your neighbors.
All right, thank y'all so much.
All right, that was the latest from Governor Jeff Landry's press conference in Monroe. Of course, we learned a lot. They hope to have the westbound lanes of I-20 flowing somewhat by this afternoon. They're going to try to start by opening one lane and then hope to have both lanes open very, very soon. We'll have a full recap of the press conference and more details on our website, and also coming up in just a few minutes on KSLA at noon. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you back here on our live stream today at noon.